Huge matchup to kick off Big Ten play for these two teams. Illinois goes to Indiana. We were expecting a close game. I try to refrain from cursing on the show, but this was belt to ass. It was a demolishing, snot pounding, ass beating, pulverizing.
Butt whooping.
Just Indiana beat Illinois into the concrete, basically. Was not pretty. Indiana wins 63-10.
Guarantee it's the Sarah McLaughlin special
Yes, it's got to be.
on tonight's Josh Pate show.
To kick off
Yeah,
this segment,
probably.
I'm going to read off some stats from this game because the amount of padlock stats in this game is crazy, but also like sometimes the stats don't tell the full story.
Mhm.
You start looking at some of these stats, it tells a story. Indiana 579 total yards, Illinois 161 total yards. Indiana 39 minutes and 43 seconds of possession. Illinois 20 minutes and 17 seconds of possession. 31 first downs for Indiana, 9 for Illinois. 1 of 10 on third downs for Illinois. 1 turnover for Illinois. Only 2 rushing yards for Illinois. Indiana had 312 rushing yards. Passing yards per attempt, Indiana 11.6, Illinois 6.4. Just like anywhere you look, it's bad in the stats for Illinois. Got manhandled pretty badly. But with that said, thoughts on this game, guys?
Well, Indiana took away everything that Illinois, at least offensively, was good at, for starters. They pressured Altmaier. Altmaier's always kind of been questioned about his ability to handle pressure. They sack him 7 times. They had 10 TFLs on top of that. They took away Illinois' rushing game, which is much more needed for their offense to run than Indiana. They had 29 rushing yards, that if you don't include the sacks for Altmaier. So
Sure.
they also only had 11 carries, and that is partially because they were out in front so early. Altmaier and Illinois is forced to throw the ball, but Illinois also only ran 45 plays. Like, they just weren't out there offensively. They had 3 and outs many, many times throughout the entire night. Altmaier was fine, but like besides the long touchdown to Colin Dixon, there really wasn't anything that pointed out for them offensively. And so offensively, they were dominated the entire night by Indiana's defense, blocking the punt still in the special teams for a touchdown. I mean, to start the game that way is huge domination. And then Indiana's offense was purely dominant the entire way, rushing the ball with Kobe Martin, Kalen Black, and Roman Hemby. And then Omar Cooper has another great game. Elijah Surratt has his best game, second best game of the season. And they were just Fernando Mendoza looked excellent. His footwork was great again. I said on Thursday I just felt like Indiana was playing better football.
That's you hitting the nail on the head Thursday. So
that one was for sure correct. I didn't pick Indiana to cover the spread. I just thought 6.5 points was too much. But if there was anyone who was correct on a kind of a bold take on Thursday, I'll take full credit for it in thinking that Indiana was playing better, and they played better again on Saturday night. The crowd was electric as well. Kurt Signetti was great throughout the entire game. He's just one of those coaches that it doesn't matter what the score is. He's still going to like get in his players' faces and let his players know that, like, bro, you're messing up or something like that. Nick Saban is like that. Not to compare Kurt to Nick, but he's just one of those
it was what came to
coaches.
my mind as well, because you see all the clips of Saban doing the same thing. So I completely agree.
And even in a game where they are just completely dominant, he's still finding things to take apart, and that's what winning teams do. Indiana was unbelievably impressive, and Mendoza again was really, really good. Now they have 2 tests later on in the season. They go to Penn State and they go to Oregon. I'm not convinced they'll win either of those games, but I think with the way they looked on Saturday, there's a chance.
They have a legit chance.
Yep.
A couple other things I want to point out. One, we talked about in the preview with Altmaier, he's going to take what's given to him and play it safe. But I'm just going to read some of the third and like distance for Illinois on the night, which is why they ended up going 1 for 10 on third down.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in order of the game: 3rd and 5, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, which is the one they convert, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 4. So 5 of those, half of them are you're behind the sticks on third down, and that's just you're not putting Altmaier in a position to be successful because Indiana's going to just drop the zone and just make you take underneath stuff and then rally and tackle. And on the flip side, Elijah Sherrod and Omar Cooper basically scoffed at Indiana's man coverage and the scheme. They just ran man beaters all night, and Illinois just couldn't stick with those two guys. I know Xavier Scott was out, but I'm not really sure how big of a difference that would have made with the two of them. So
Yeah.
just good stuff all around from Indiana, honestly.
Yeah, Andrew, I think he very well could become a prospect. I don't think he would ever get into consideration of where like Nussmeier is right now or where Lenore Sellers or Drew Aller are, just because physically I don't think he's as gifted as them. But with the way he's looked so far, like you just watch him play and you think, yeah, that's a quarterback who can play well. Now, I would say he's been under zero duress, zero pressure, both like physically from pass rush and in the game itself. They have been in control of every game so far. He's gotten everything he's wanted. So there's still maybe some questions about how he would play in a competitive game, in a close game. But he's kind of also answered that last year with Cal in their games, like at Auburn. He was great towards the end of that game. And then in the Miami game that they should have won, he was great in that game as well. So he's kind of already answered that. I will say, though, the way the throws he's making are some of the best throws of the weekend, every weekend. He is throwing the ball with conviction. He's putting it on a line. He is making throws that not every quarterback in the country can make, and that is something you can't teach. That is just something that you have, and he is the amount of confidence he's playing with. He very well could, get himself into draft consideration. But I think right now his ceiling is a second round pick. But he could get drafted in the first round just because of that fifth-year option.
Sure.
But he's playing incredible so far, and he looks incredible so far.
A lot of his
We'll see how he looks against Oregon and Penn State on the road. That's when I would really like to see him, and then we can really try to make a case for him.
He's done everything that Indiana's asked of him up to this point, which you don't need to see. I think a lot of it, they like for his draft, status is what do the guys above him do. Because I don't know if he can, with what I expect from him, even with an adjusted, expectations for how well he's played so far, I don't really know if he's going to go somehow like, for example, like you said, like jump Nussmeier or jump a Drew Aller. I think they would kind of have to continue to play bad and drop below him, if that makes sense. So, any thoughts on this game, Sanders?
No, I was going to ask JP the exact same question Andrew did about Mendoza and his pro potential. What year is he? Is this his final year, or does he have another year after this?
He will declare for the draft. I don't think he has another year.
All right, cool. No, I don't have a whole lot on this game.
Sure.
Last thing, I'm just interested to see how Illinois bounces back, because this is a pretty deflating loss